trapped in a closet for like 13 years?
No.
Yes, I did actually.
Don't you think
They
after
were,
a while
shackled.
when you just break out? How long could you last? Not in like the actual closet, but in the actual closet, not in the hypothetical
I've done it
closet.
for 24 years, so I guess.
There you go. I've got some kids in my closet right now. But I don't think I should.
All right, let's have that exact conversation in like the intro because that would be really good.
This is the intro.
This is the intro, and let's get loaded. For you, Mitchell.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finish last. I like this is very appropriate to do that Lovers and Friends when we got our boy Mitchell Renz coming in. Little sex song. I love it.
Mitchell's back.
That, guys.
Mitchell's back. We just got a tour of Chat Sports. In case you don't know Mitchell, he works for Chat Sports. We just got the virtual tour of the entire place. This is the Loaded Box Podcast. That was DJ. I am Ben. And as we said, we're joined by Mitchell. Mitchell, what's going on today?
Nothing much, guys. It's Thursday, and here at Chat Sports, Thursdays are the start of my weekend, so I gave you guys the tour. I poured a little beer with you. I do work in a pretty sweet place here in Dallas, Texas, but yeah, please follow me on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365, senior writer here at Chat Sports, writer of Gridiron Experts, writer of Fantasy Pros, and maybe one day the Loaded Box Podcast.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Nice. Well, we're glad to have you on. We thought we were going to lose you there for a second, but DJ brought you back, and he played that beautiful love song for you to start it out, so I don't know what else, you could really ask for at this
I don't
point.
know what you want. You're invited to a wedding of ours, so Jesus Christ.
We're not getting married, dude.
Well, whatever. Close enough.
Nice. Well, this is the Loaded Box Podcast, and it is the NFL Playoffs, AFC, NFC Championship Preview Podcast. As I said, we have Mitchell Renz. Follow him on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365, and let's just jump right into it because I've been itching to fight DJ on this game, and Mitchell, I'm interested to see where you land on it. It's the AFC game. It's the first one. It's the Jaguars. Somehow they limped into this shit at New England to play the Patriots. Patriots were favored by 9. I saw a little while ago. All of a sudden, it's down to 7, over under a 47. So I don't care who leads off, but I'll let you guys run with this one here.
Go for it, Mitch.
Well, if you're itching, first off, I would definitely get that checked. And
Yeah.
No doubt. But no, the reason why it's gone down is because there's rumors right now that Tom Brady's got a broken hand. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but
I saw that a little bit.
apparently Tom Brady's dealing with a broken hand. He missed practice again today, and apparently he's been kind of shaking it. I'm doing this the whole shake thing on the camera right now, but people can't see it because it's a podcast. No, but he's not fully healthy, I guess, right now. Again, I still think they're going to be okay, but the Patriots could be in for a serious showdown. It could be the real Boston Teal Party with the Jaguars coming in.
Oh, I like your analogy there. So if you're getting 7 points, are you taking the Jags?
No, I'm still going to take the Patriots.
Ah, that's my boy. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Again, it's just the whole Tom Brady at home thing. The Patriots, I don't even think played that well last week. Sure, it was against the Titans, but they still, in a game that I think they didn't play well, they still won by 3 touchdowns. The Jags, I think, just match up very, very well with the Steelers. They beat them twice for a reason, but I just don't see Blake Bortles marching into New England and competing with Tom Brady for 4 quarters.
Bingo.
So guess what, Mitch? You're going to end up being wrong, all right? I'm taking Jacksonville +7. Telling both of you guys right now, I've started on this trade. I'm riding this train. I'm going down with this train. I don't care if I go off the tracks, off the side of a hill. Jacksonville +7. I'm taking them against the spread. And you know what, Ben? I'm going to take them straight up.
Oh my gosh.
They're going to the Super Bowl.
Burn
right?
your money. Just burn it.
This Tom Brady thing, I'm not going to fall into this hand trap. But I don't care about New England at home. I don't care about Gronk. I don't care about Brady and Belichick. I care about that Jacksonville defense. They are nasty. I know they
42 points.
gave up 42 points. Yeah, they gave up 42 points.
Really nasty.
But they're good. They're literally the best defense in the NFL right now. And I think they match up really well against this guess you like Minnesota? Do you think Minnesota's better defense?
Minnesota hasn't given up 42 points. They gave up 44 to the 49ers just 3 weeks ago. This Jacksonville defense.
Yeah, get out of here. Yeah. Anyways, so Jalen Ramsey's gonna knock some guys down. I don't think New England has much of a running game. I think they're gonna struggle to pass the ball. Honestly, if I were Jacksonville, I'd almost put Jalen Ramsey. I'd almost try to match up Jalen Ramsey with Rob Gronkowski here. But I think the combination of the run game that Jacksonville has, the ability to keep Brady off the field, and then the play action game with how bad that New England secondary is, 31st worst in the NFL, real fucking bad. I think they'll be able to control the ball, keep Brady off the field, keep him cold, and keep that Jags defense ready to go. So.
Okay, well, let me be the tiebreaker here, and I wrote a blog about this one earlier in the week, about both of these games actually, but I said that on paper, I mean, we got ourselves a fantastic matchup. Mitch talked about Brady and how good the Patriots offense can be, and you talked about their defense. We get that. But I'm looking beyond the stats when it comes to this kind of game. Dude, you're talking Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, at New England, in the Patriots AFC Championship game.
I don't care about any of those things.
They're not losing. And you think Blake Bortles and no experience with the Jaguars can just come in there and just do that? Teams don't come in there and just win, DJ. That's not a thing. And yeah, sure, the Jags defense is fine, and the Patriots offense isn't going to be flawless, but, dude, it was fun while it lasted. You can go straight back into that damn closet with Blake Bortles, because it's over. It's over, man. Like I said, look beyond the stats on this one. At a certain point, we knew it was going to end for the Jaguars. I thought it'd be a little bit earlier, but it's going to be this weekend. Patriots win this by double digits.
I'm looking beyond the stats. That's why I'm taking Jacksonville. I mean, the stats would always tell you to take New England in this game. Everybody was going to take Pittsburgh as well. But that Saxonville there, they're going to hit Brady. He's going to be seeing ghosts. He's going to want to get the ball out too early. Guys aren't going to be there. It's going to scare him, and they're going to control the ball, so he's not going to be able to get into a groove. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot closer, and I think they actually have a chance to win this game.
The convo surrounding the Jags after this game is going to be whether or not Bortles is the man for the future of this team. That's what the convo is going to be.
The entire fucking year in the AFC Championship game.
That's what it's going to be again.
I think the only way the Jaguars win this game is if they score first. Like, if the Patriots score first and really force Blake Bortles to compete and get into a shootout with Brady, it's a matchup that he's not going to win. If the Jags can actually get out in the lead and then lean on Leonard Fournette, I mean, Leonard Fournette was the youngest player in NFL history to have over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns in a playoff game. I mean, dude's younger than me. He's 22 years old. Like, that's pretty amazing. But, like, they have to get a lead. They have to be able to let that defense pin its ears back and get after Brady, because if Brady gets in the lead, sorry.
You know what I heard? You know what I heard today is the two teams to beat New England on the road in the playoffs were quarterbacked by Joe Flacco and Mark Sanchez.
Yes, 700 years ago. You need to have
a great quarterback. You need to have a great defense in this type of matchup.
You do. And I don't know if Jacksonville has a great defense right now. They're not playing well.
Yeah, I still think they're going to bring that nasty.
44 to the 49ers, 42 to the Steelers, and wow, you stopped the Titans, put up 15. Congratulations.
Antonio Brown and the Steelers had to make some of the most incredible catches and plays on fourth down that I've ever seen in my entire life. So I wouldn't necessarily say they played bad defense. They had them on fourth down multiple times, and Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell had to make amazing catches.
Points. That's not a solid defensive game.
That's one game. If you look at the season, though, they're a great defense. Especially in the secondary.
I'm not looking at the season. I'm looking at this week against the Patriots.
Yeah, it's going to be – I hope they just win by 20.
I hope they win, too. I am cheering for – there's nothing more that I want to see is Blake Bortles in the Super Bowl, believe me. But I think
it's amazing to me that you're just because they gave up 42, that you're just discounting anything that they've done this year.
It's a great defense. There's no doubt.
All right.
Guess what? Tom Brady's pretty good.
Yeah, he's average.
Before we go on to the next one, that was great. I like that you two can fight it out. Hopefully, now that DJ knows the address to Chat Sports, he's probably going to show up on your door. Slam that beer that you didn't do for us before you started here. We wanted you to pound that one home, and then just take a poop on that big couch that you guys have for everybody.
Well, two problems with that. You need a key to be able to get into the tower.
Not if you're me.
Have you seen DJ?
You don't even know me, bro.
Oh man.
Before we go on though, Mitch, I'd be upset with myself if I didn't ask you how your New Year's Eve went, and if you had a lucky girl at midnight.
My New Year's Eve was me working at Chat Sports for about 15 hours. So that's kind of how my Christmas went. It's kind of how my Thanksgiving went. How New Year's Eve went. A lot of sports go on during the holidays, guys. So unfortunately, I'm stuck here working. But I guess that's just part of the gig.
A lot of maybe babies and napkins, it sounds like, at Chad Sports. Well, let's move on to that NFC game real quick here. We got the Minnesota Vikings at the Eagles. The spread is the Vikings by 3, over-under of 39. Mitchell, will have you lead off again.
If I'm leading off again, I'm going to stick with Skull. I don't want to say this because it's super cliche, but when you see the game that the Vikings won, to me it's just in the cards that they're going to make the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to beat the Patriots. I mean, they had no business beating the Saints in that game. I mean, I thought the Saints played so much better, and I don't know what the hell, what's his name, was trying to tackle at the end with Diggs, and he just totally whipped.
He could have literally just caught him and set him down.
Yeah, no, I literally just, when I watch the play, I just don't get it. He said he tried to keep him in bounds, but again, that's just that kind of thing where I just don't get.
Yeah.
The Vikings, though, I just think are the clear better team. It was the first time all season that they gave up more than 20 points at home. So I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'm going to go with Case Keenum. He's going to be in the Super Bowl.
I think the forgotten play in that game was the 3rd and 1 for the Saints before they kicked their field goal to go ahead. They just ran basically like a handoff up the middle to Kamara that didn't even have a chance of getting the first down and almost just centered the ball. If they could have gotten the first down there, they would have drained the Vikings of all their timeouts and they could have killed all the clock. They'd have put a little bit more thought into that, but that's like that and the Thielen catch are 2 plays that will not be remembered because of how crazy that Diggs play was.
I mean, none of that should even be relevant. It was just a miracle play that happened.
True,
a miracle.
that
You
too.
can't even second guess those plays.
That
it
too.
Was just, that's it. That's all that should be remembered.
You can always second guess a play. Like, that wasn't the only play that led up to that. So I understand what Ben is saying, but I mean, at the end of the day, I had to write a recap article here at Chat for the Vikings game, and I deleted it.
Yep.
3 or 4 times, and had to recraft it, and I was like, my Lord, can we just figure out what's going on? And then to watch that game just end and then go live on a show,
yeah,
man, mind blown, absolutely mind blown, guys.
Yeah, we tried doing that too. It was weird.
The Eagles and Vikings have played 3 times in the postseason. The Eagles have won all 3.
Ooh. So history, the old school history is on the Eagles side. DJ hates those stats because none of those players, all those players were probably trapped in closets when those were relevant. All right, so we got Mitchell on Team Minnesota. DJ, are you going to keep your hatred alive, or are you going to appease the Skull Nation this week?
I mean, Philadelphia.
He's breaking.
They're so bad.
He broke.
I don't think I just don't think they're even close to good enough. Foles is just inept. He's not going to do anything against this Minnesota defense. I don't see them barely moving the ball. The same way I mentioned, what game was that? Was it Jacksonville Buffalo? I didn't think that Buffalo was going to get a first down.
Oh,
I don't know if
Eagles.
The Eagles are going to get the first down.
Right.
To get a first down in this game. I expect the Vikings. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, all right? I expect the Vikings need to score or set them up in really good field positioning in this game. I'm just thinking about Nick Foles' first throw of the game and how awful it was last week. And I just think when it comes down to it, I hate that I have to say these 2 quarterbacks' name in an NFC Championship game and compare them. But Keenum is better than Foles, and this is the worst NFC Championship game ever. I'm very disappointed that this has to be the one matchup. The defense for Minnesota is fun and everything, but Vikings -3. I just don't think Philadelphia is going to – I don't see them scoring more than 7 points, 10 points maybe. I don't think that there's any chance Philadelphia wins this game, and nor do I want Philadelphia to win this game because the matchup against New England or Jacksonville, I would not want to see that Philadelphia team in that. I just think it would be awful.
The entire fan base of the Vikings, the entire state of Minnesota, after hearing DJ say that, all just passed out. So I'm going to give them about 5 seconds to try to wake back up. because that is the most credit DJ has ever given. It wasn't even that much credit to the Vikings as much of discredit it was to Foles and the Eagles. But I'm somewhat proud of you. But folks, it's a clean sweep because I'm straight up the Vikings. I'm against the spread Vikings. Vikings are just more complete. We saw the Eagles defense. They proved last week they can compete against a decent offense, but you could also say Atlanta never really hit their offensive potential all season. And you could even argue that the Vikings offense is more potent right now than the Falcons was.
Oh, yeah,
they
definitely
finished the season averaging more points per game, more rushing yards per game. And the Eagles offense, you guys summed it up with Foles, scored a touchdown and 3 field goals last week against that Falcons defense. And now you're going to face the Vikings defense, who I agree with Mitchell. I mean, they're obviously top 1 or 2 in the league. They're first or second in basically every key stat category right now. Weather's not going to be an issue, so that was maybe one advantage that the Eagles would potentially even have in this one. That's nullified. Minnesota's not going to need to score on the last play. That whole situation's not going to be repeated. It's going to be an easier win for the Vikings and their fans. I think they win this one by at least a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles' defense, though, I think they are very underrated. And I think, the entire season, the Eagles, I think, had one of the best defenses in the league. It was just overshadowed by the play of Carson Wentz. But, they held the Falcons to 10 points last week.
Yep.
Or what was it? Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15-10.
But, that Falcons offense has just been horrible all year. If you could tell me, at the beginning of the year, Julio Jones 1 for 18 in the red zone.
Right.
That's all I need to say.
Yeah.
I would have said Matt Ryan and not been surprised. So it's Matt Ryan. It's just what he's been in his career.
All right, Matt Ryan hasn't been that bad. Matt Ryan throughout his entire career is 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, about 4,000 yards. I wrote an article going into it last year because I knew he was going to have a decrease. But to have it this bad, I think you got to start looking at Steve Sarkisian. And the fact that they're bringing him back.
Yeah.
Horrible. And he totally kind of flopped even in Alabama. And he leaves now. Alabama's a national championship. Sure, Alabama's great every single year, but I think we got to start looking at Steve Sarkisian too, who is just. I just don't get the play calling. Tevin Coleman ran amazing against Eagles last week, and then they get into the red zone, and then all of a sudden Ward. What's his name? What the hell is his name? Ward starts coming on.
I don't know, but he's deaf. That's what I learned.
No, that's
Oh my Lord! I don't get it. The Falcons are super overrated, but if the Vikings don't win this game by a touchdown, I would be very surprised.
Yeah, that's the Eagles were the best team against the run this year, and they are a good defense. They really are, but I just think Minnesota's going to put them in better position than Philadelphia will put Minnesota. Minnesota with their run game, the fact that Case Keenum's playing so well, doesn't have to make dumb throws because they're deep. He's playing within his means, and he's playing really well. Same thing I think Blake Bortles has to do to win games, but Case Keenum's in a better position. I will say this though, Nick Foles, two career playoff games.
Oh gosh.
Over 100 passer rating in both of them.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, and now we got the best defense in the league. Good luck, Nick. You'll be watching the Super Bowl like we will be.
Big Dick Nick.
Before we jump into some daily fantasy talk.
Hold on a sec. I think, Christian McCaffrey just scored a touchdown. Yeah, we're good.
The joke will forever live. That will be said on every one of the podcasts we do for the rest of eternity with Mitchell Renz. So, wow, that was great. Good timing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, before we dive into some daily fantasy, you basically took care of it right there. Usually our tradition is football talk, personal life, football talk, funny talk. We just try to go back and forth. Do you have anything else you want to ask Mitchell right away? Or go into daily fantasy?
I think you do.
Oh, you want me to go?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Let's see on my list of questions here for Mitchell for the day. More important to you, Mitchell, when looking at a lady friend, looks or personality?
I think that's a really good question. I think it goes both ways, which is something that I'm starting to contemplate down here in Texas because I get hit on a lot, I'll tell you what. But, no, looks are obviously important, guys. There's no doubt, but I don't know. A solid personality is always good. There's no doubt about that, but it depends what you're looking for.
All right, pick one or the other. You kind of played the fence there.
Be shallow.
Right now in my life,
You
I'll
shall.
say I'm still looking for looks.
Yes.
Yeah, attaboy. That's a man
I'm
being
still
a
looking
man.
for looks. I'm married with a child, so.
Yep. Well, it's a
I
clean
will
sweep.
say though, I have met a pretty cool chick. I've been hanging out with her the last week or so, and she drinks craft beer. She's really into sports. Season tickets to the Rangers. She's a pretty cool girl.
Ain't no
So
Ranger.
she's ugly.
Nice.
No,
Oh, okay. Well, you sounded like you were leading that way.
I'll send you pics after.
Yes.
Nice, can't wait. Well, let's talk a little daily fantasy. Let's lead it off with some QB. I mean, there's only 4 of them you can choose from, unless you want to get ballsy and take Chad Henne, because he'll probably be in the second quarter of that game, DJ.
Yeah,
but
probably.
Mitchell, lead it off. What quarterback do you like here?
I mean, guys. Nick Foles, Case Keenum, Blake Bortles. Like,
Love
come
it.
on. I mean, let's be real. I'm going to go with Tom Brady. I mean, you really can't go against him unless you are really trying to go against the grain, which I get it. And maybe if that's the case, maybe you roll out Case Keenum in that scenario, or maybe Blake Bortles, maybe you get some garbage time. But I'm throwing out Tom Brady because from what I've seen from the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, they're not scaring me the last 3 weeks. I mean, they've given up over 40 points to the last 3 weeks, and I think the Patriots offense is by far the best offense left in this playoff. So I'm going to go with Tom Brady. I don't care if he has a broken hand or not. I think they're going to win that game, and yeah, it's going to be on the shoulders of Tom Brady.
All right, and you did trash the Jaguars defense, and I know
What?
DJ wants to say
Are
something.
you stuck?
Oh, am I stuck? No, I'm sorry. I'm not stuck. I know that DJ wants to probably say something back, but we already had that argument. We already know you disagree on that. So, DJ, who's your quarterback?
My quarterback, I'm actually going stack here again. I did do a stack here, so I'm stacking my guy, Blake Bortles, who's going to be 600 at New England. And I just took a guess at wide receiver. I'm going to go D.D. Westbrook here. I'm going to go D.D. Westbrook, 5,500 at New England. I like Blake Bortles for the reason that I said is that he's going to New England is the 31st worst, second worst pass defense in the league. He's going to have to throw the ball in order to win the game. He threw the ball well last game. He didn't throw multiple touchdowns. He only threw 1 touchdown. But the reason,
216 yards in a touchdown.
yeah, he threw 1 touchdown.
Spectacular.
He did. They did what he asked them to do.
Yep.
He was hitting TJ Yeldon out of flat. He's going to have to do the same type of thing this game. I expect him to continue to run the ball, scramble a little bit, so he might even run one in the end zone. But I think he's going to have to throw the ball in order to win this game. I think New England's going to look at this team and be like, what are they best at? They're best at running the ball. So let's commit to the run and make Blake Bortles throw it. I think Blake Bortles plays with his mean. I still think he's better than everybody gives this guy credit for. I think I'm still on this Blake Bortles train. I think he can be a good quarterback. I think he's going to show it in this game. He might have to take a few chances. I love that he was taking some deep shots and finally hit one in the last game. He's going to have to do that again in this game.
How many points do you think the Jaguars are going to score in this matchup?
20.
Mitchell, hold on. That doesn't matter because last week, DJ used Mariota. He predicted they would score 3 field goals, and he still wanted to use Mariota as his FanDuel quarterback. He justified it, though, by saying that he could get garbage time points, which he technically did. He did get a touchdown at the end. So don't try to play that logic card with DJ because it ain't going to happen.
Just say, I hate the argument the Patriots are the 31st ranked defense. Like, they've been very good the last few weeks. Like,
No, they haven't. The pass defense is bad. Everybody thought they were getting better. They went up a couple of spots, and they dropped right back to 31st because their pass defense is bad.
Can you name the only 2 teams that have scored over 20 points against the Patriots since week 4?
The Miami Dolphins.
Bingo.
Miami Dolphins.
And
the Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh
Steelers.
Steelers.
Yeah.
That's going to be bad, I guess.
I'm just saying, like, their defense has actually been
Were their opponents bad up to that point? Was it like the Jets,
Dolphins.
the Bills, Dolphins? Right? Is that what it's been? Oh, okay.
I mean, they held the Chargers, they held the Falcons. I mean, like, again, they played horrible the first 4 weeks of the season. They did kind of turn it around. Blake Bortles 2 weeks ago had more rushing yards than passing yards. And that's the guy you're going to throw out there over Tom Brady.
He's doing what he has to do to win games.
If Blake Bortles has to pass for them to win this game, they're not going to win this game.
He can do it. He had that hot streak of 3 games. He's coming right back. It's Blake Bortles time, baby.
Yep.
you guys are turning into like Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith right here.
I actually believe in Blake Bortles, though. I'm not just doing it for listens. I actually think he can be a good quarterback.
Sorry you feel that way.
That was a great response. Well, let me jump in because I got a third piece here that you guys haven't talked about yet. Because I like Case Keenum because he's $1,000 cheaper than Tom Brady, and there is that chance that Jaguars defense can limit Brady. So instead of risking that extra $1,000, I really do like Deion Lewis and the running backs in this game too, because the Jaguars' primary weakness probably is against running backs. So I like the opportunity here maybe to use Keenum. We saw the Eagles kind of shut down Ryan in Atlanta last week. I don't see that lasting. I think the strength of the Phillies' defense is against the run. So I think you're going to see Keenum with opportunities to make plays through the air. There's no way I'm using Bortles. There's no way I'm using Foles. I'm between Brady and Keenum, and I'm just going to take the cheaper option here and take Keenum.
Keenum was definitely my other choice. I don't like to just go with the top guy, so that's obviously why I stayed away from Tom Brady. I wasn't going to do that. So, yeah, it was either between Bortles and Keenum, but I'm going to roll with my guy Bortles. I do like the Keenum matchup, though, and I will talk about one of his wide receivers in a sec.
Nice.
I think when you play in these, we're always, trying to stay away from the grain. I feel like people are going to see the name Tom Brady, and sure, but I'll spend money on quarterback this week because there's other names I feel like that you can find better options and better deals at the other skill positions. So.
But I just do bargain things. That's what I do in this section here.
Sometimes you gotta do. You're just probably used to going to the store and buying brand name stuff.
Yeah, no, I know. I like Aldi's. I don't know if you know what that is.
I fucking hate Aldi's. Let's not talk about Aldi's. Let's talk about running backs.
It's a German brand.
You're a German brand. All right, Mitchell, who do you like at running back?
It's a good question. You guys are gonna have to skip over me. I just got slapped by my boss, so go first.
Oh, nice. DJ, who do you like?
I'm taking a total shot here. A big shot here. I'm going with my boy, Whitey out of Nebraska. I'm going with Rex Burkhead. First game back since the injury, $6,000. Jacksonville they're honestly, obviously everybody knows their weakest part of their defense is against the run. And Belichick wants to exploit weaknesses, so I think they're going to run. And I think Burkhead's more of that straight-ahead runner he'll use. Plus, he has the ability to catch all the ball in the backfield. Not only that, but he's obviously been the guy that's going to get the ball at the goal line, and I think when they get near the end zone, they're going to run it because they don't want to take a chance of throwing it around Ramsey, Bouye, that type of thing. So if someone's going to score, I think it's going to be Burkhead as well. So I'm going to take a shot at Burkhead here.
I'm just the opposite running back on the same team. Deion Lewis, he's more expensive. He's $7,700.
Yep.
My money right now would be on New England being the team that scores the most, even though they're playing – I'm talking about total points. Even though they play that Jags defense, I just don't really like as many of the offenses in here. And last week was the week where James White got the touchdowns. But I expect that.
He scores touchdowns in the playoffs.
Dude, that is his thing, man.
That's all he does.
The thing about Lewis, though, is I kind of expect him to see that Le'Veon Bell type workload. Because Le'Veon last week against the Jags had 16 carries, 9 catches. By the way, I called that bold prediction. And I just kind of think that Lewis is going to see that kind of volume this week. And even though he didn't score last week, he still put up over 18 fantasy points last week. And that was actually his lowest output in his last 3 games. The 2 weeks before that, he had nearly 30 points. He's still the main guy there, and you're going to spend a little bit more for him, but he's my guy this week.
Yeah, I mean, I like both of those options. I mean, I think the running back plays are really hard this week because.
Yep.
But, I mean, if we're going for dart throws, I'm going to go with Jerick McKinnon of the Vikings. So the Eagles actually have one of the best running defenses in the league, but they've actually struggled a little bit more against the pass, and they've given up 5 receiving touchdowns, 91 receptions to running backs this year, and I think this is going to be a much lower scoring game. And Latavius Murray's numbers, I don't have them in front of me, but they are much better when the Vikings play at home.
Right.
On the road, they kind of sometimes lean more towards Jerick McKinnon. So I just think that this is going to be a game where the Eagles' front 7 is a tough front 7 to go up against.
Yeah.
And if this team really wants to succeed, I'm going to go with Jerick McKinnon, and I'm hoping he can catch a receiving touchdown because the running backs are tough. I want to sit here and say, yeah, go with Leonard Fournette.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of people are going to play Leonard Fournette because the other running back options they're all dart throws. So I'm going to go with the dart throw, and I'm going to go with Jerick McKinnon.
Are we being dumb for not taking field conditioning in Philadelphia, into play, maybe? I guess I'm thinking more about this, and that could be one of the things that is a Philadelphia advantage going into this game. I mean, that's always is a factor that I think that we don't look at that could actually makes a difference in this game. And now it's just popping in my head.
I mean, it's going to be an ugly game. I mean, I think both teams are going to. I think both teams are just very tough-nosed teams that are just going to try to beat each other up, and who can be more physical. I just think the Vikings are just a more physically gifted team all around. And
but would you favor the team that plays their 8 games out of the season?
If they were a better team, like if it was like that close, like if it was just like a coin flip. I mean, if this game was in Minnesota, I'd be like, oh my gosh, Vikings are going to pull them out.
Minnesota easy, yeah.
But I still feel like the Vikings are just they match up so well with the Eagles receivers. They're going to be physical with them. I know you guys like Alshon Jeffrey. He's pretty good, but with Nick Foles right now, they are so out of sync. They're going to be so physical. I mean, and then J.J. he's not going to be able to get anything going. I don't care what the field conditions are. I mean, when you're just a better team, I think that just is going to weigh it.
Yeah. Well, we got receivers and tight ends to get to. I know DJ has B-ball he's got to play tonight. DJ, you were talking about something with B-ball earlier. What'd you want to...
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you think, well, you already kind of talked about it earlier, but if we had to play a round robin, I know Ben talks about how bad his intramural team is and how shitty they are and how tired he is from last night. If all three of us had to play a one-on-one round robin tournament, who do you think would end up coming out on top there?
Well, I'm always on top for one, but I'm pretty confident in my basketball skills. I mean, defense is not something I'm good at, I'll be honest, I mean, obviously, but I can shoot, and I would challenge you to any kind of shooting competition you could ever imagine.
Really?
That's what you just said.
Really? That's interesting.
If you get free time, look up Mitchell Renz, Elks Hoop Shoe, and tell me what you find.
How tall are you?
5'10".
Okay, I can handle that.
I can shoot, man.
So DJ, you're taking
something like I can't play defense. I can't really. I have good cardio. That's I guess say it. I have no idea, but I can shoot.
You're talking to two guys who were just. That's all we did was shoot back in our day.
Hey, look up DJ. Mitchell Renz, Elks Hoop Shoe. Tell me what you find.
I don't even know what that means.
No, we'll look it up. DJ, so what do you? I'm assuming you're taking yourself here, DJ.
Oh, I will definitely. From what I know about Ben, he's really went downhill and kind of fell apart over the last few years being away from basketball. So I feel like he doesn't have much of a chance, and I'm gonna always take the black guy versus the two white guys.
Nice. Well, I wanted to say a little bit here, and since this is a podcast and people can't see us, we've got to paint a little bit of a picture. So I've developed a little bit of a scouting report on myself.
Oh, yes.
So height and weight, I'm 5'10", 185. I've got some strengths here. My strengths would be shooting, distracting opponents with uncommon tactics to create open looks, ball handling, and I have short hair, so it's not in my eyes when I shoot. And then I have some weaknesses, though. My weakness, DJ hit on, I have a lack of stamina. I don't retain water well, so I cramp easily. I am a bit top heavy, so I can be beat down low. And then my biggest weakness is probably my vision. If my contacts were to get knocked out, I couldn't be able to see anything. So
he's not that good of a shooter anymore either.
Yeah,
put that out there.
I think I'd be competitive early. When it's all said and done, I think my weaknesses would be exposed, and I think I'd fall flat in like a consolation bracket. But
there you go.
Wanted to throw it out there.
So basically, if you were a dog, they'd put you down.
Yeah, I'd have been put down years ago.
Okay.
Well, with
I
that,
love it. I love this scouting report on himself.
Let's go into some wide receivers. Mitchell, who do you got?
Who do I got? That's another really good question. Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll come back to Mitchell. DJ?
I go on Stephon Diggs here. I think for some of the reasons we talked about, Philadelphia's got a really good run defense. I think, I notice Adam Thielen costs more, but I'm going to take the more talented wide receiver in this one. I think that maybe I'm just disregarding him because he's white. I'm doing this like reverse racist thing in my head, but I think Diggs is the more talented wide receiver. They have to throw against Philadelphia in order to win this game, and I think that's about it. I'm looking at the matchups at wide receiver. I mean, against the defenses, and Stephon Diggs was the one guy that stuck out to me. I thought it was crazy that Thielen was that much more than he was. I thought it was crazy that Thielen was the most expensive. Like, where
Yep.
are we at?
Most receiver,
Adam Thielen is the most expensive freaking wide receiver in FanDuel right now. I hate that. I hate that.
Pretty wild. And since I used Keenum, I was going to use a Viking stack as well. And I say, if you have the money, go ahead and use Thielen with him. If you need to save that extra $700, then go ahead and use Diggs. We talked about that Eagles defense. They're only 17th versus the pass. They don't really have like a key shutdown corner that's going to separate using Diggs or Thielen. So honestly, I say whichever one fits your budget better would be totally fine. I think you can go ahead with either one of these. I don't know that one has a huge advantage over the other, but I would use one of them.
The one thing I would say is the Eagles are, and as you saw later in the season, those cornerbacks are more susceptible to those double moves because they're looking to jump. And I think the guy that's going to beat them on those double moves is Stephon Diggs, not Adam Thielen.
Thielen's a nasty route runner, though.
He's a good route runner, but he's not the deep, threat scoring type of route runner.
Yeah. Mitchell, who's your receiver? You ready?
Yeah, I'm going to go with. I was actually going to go with Adam Thielen, and it's so. I know I've been kind of shitting on the Jags a lot, but I don't really want to play a wide receiver against the Jags. I mean, It was the first time AJ Boye gave up a receiving touchdown all year, over 100 yards receiving, and nobody's Antonio Brown. So I'm going to go with Thielen, and the main reason why I'm going to go with Thielen, I don't care that he's the most expensive, but everybody in attention to the NFL, hell, my mom even asked me about the Stephon Diggs catch. Everybody's going to play Stephon Diggs this week, and I think it's because they're wow, Stephon Diggs just did this. Oh. Then you look at his numbers, he's not going to have another 61-yard miracle catch again. I mean, the reason why Adam Thielen is the highest priced receiver, he finishes wide receiver 8. Adam Thielen had an amazing season, who had great chemistry with Case Keenum all season long. It's just the wide receivers for the Eagles, no thank you.
Right.
Nope.
Jacksonville, I have no idea. Nope. I'm either going to go with Stephon Diggs or I'm going to go with Adam Thielen, and I think Adam Thielen is going to be the less-owned guy, but he was better all year than Diggs. I think Diggs is a better wide receiver, but with a big catch, I think Thielen, he gets targets. I'm going to go with Thielen.
I'm actually upset that your mom had to ask you about that Diggs play. I thought I did a good enough job explaining it to her that night, but apparently I didn't. So my bad, Miss Renz. I'll do better next time. Oh, before we move on to tight ends, do you guys remember Chris Hogan in last year's AFC Championship game, or were we drinking too much for that? Because he finished with 9 for 180 and 2 touchdowns. So any chance you'd give Hogan a little bit of a play here? He's pretty cheap too. Give me 1 second. He's only $6,100 in FanDuel.
Well, I mean, sure, you could always think of it it's the option, but I don't know who is going to succeed for the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. I think with the Vikings, though, we've seen kind of all year it's either Diggs or it's Thielen, and Thielen's had more of a solid target share. Sure, Chris Hogan was getting targets before he was injured, but I am a huge believer in Jalen Ramsey and AJ Boye, and I know I'm saying take Brady, but I know Brady's going to get his numbers. I don't know who he's going to get them to.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, let's move on to tight ends. I have a feeling that DJ's frozen right now, but if he comes back, he comes back. Otherwise, we can finish this off too. But tight end, you want to go or do you want me to?
You can take this one first.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go with the simple, obvious answer, and it's Gronk. He's expensive as shit. He's $8,400, but it's as simple as that. And the Jaguars, they're actually pretty good against tight ends in fantasy this year. They finished 4th against tight ends. But if you look a little deeper into it, all of the remaining teams are actually really good against opposing tight ends. I think Kyle Rudolph was probably statistically your best option. The Eagles are middle of the pack, I think 15th against the tight ends. But every one of these teams is pretty good. And if you're going to try to get that advantage over the team, just go ahead and use Gronk. I think he's the most talented. He's probably the most targeted option of all the tight ends that we have playing this week. So I'm all about using Gronk right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting point. I mean, the Eagles are sure middle of the pack, but I mean, you look at just the last 4 weeks. I mean, they haven't allowed more than 90 receiving yards. I mean, even the last 2, sure, it's Oakland and Dallas, and they held the Rams, but I don't want to sit here I said pick Brady. I said pick Thielen. I mean,
Yeah.
do you even have enough money to pick a guy like Gronk? Like, why the hell am I even on this podcast? Yeah, just pick the best players and put them in your lineup. I mean, people are probably thinking this guy's an idiot, but if you can save up the money and you can play Gronk and you can play Brady, I haven't looked at the FanDuel prices, so I can't sit here and say, hey, like, this is like how much it costs for the DraftKings prices. But if you can afford to get Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski in your lineups this week, I think it is the no doubt, like, you have to do
Right.
it because Gronk, in my opinion, is the standout tight end out of all of them, and Brady's the standout QB. And then go cheap at the running backs because, like we were saying, there's arguments to be made. There's arguments to be made for all the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Quarterback and tight end, you can't give me a good enough argument that say that Tom Brady and Gronk are going to get outscored.
FanDuel's already hard this time of the year because there's only 4 teams to choose from. And then, like you said, when you have these quarterbacks playing against some of these quality of defenses, it just makes it so challenging. Do you have time for one running back hypothetical question?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So you said you might have to go bargain somewhere. So you got a couple of Eagles running backs that would be considered bargain plays this week. LeGarrette Blount's 5,700, or you have Corey Clement, who's 5,000. If you have to go bargain at running back, is there one of do you have like a decision between one of those two guys, or would you potentially avoid both of them?
Oh man, again, how much are like the Patriots running backs? Because I feel like they're always going to be a little bit cheaper, just simply because people are stereotypical Patriots running backs. Like, we don't really know who's going to succeed.
Yeah, Lewis has jumped up to 7,700. I think DJ had Rex Burkhead around 6,000 something. So, and then I guess James White was around that same.
Cut you off, but
that's fine.
No, TJ Yeldon might not be a bad option. I don't know what he's priced. I mean, obviously they're going to be trailing, and he played a lot of third downs even against the Steelers this past week. So, but if you want to pick a Eagles running back, I'm going to go with LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah.
The Vikings this season have given up 7 rushing touchdowns compared to only 1 receiving touchdown. I'm pretty confident that Blunt's not going to get a receiving touchdown, even though I'm pretty sure he has one this year.
Yeah.
But Clement is their more favorable receiving running back. So if we're getting real nitpicky, the Eagles maybe pass interference on the one LeGarrette Blount dive touchdown.
I'll say hopefully get the 1-yard plunge. I was looking at it because I was like, well, Clement was okay for a little while there, but if you actually look back and if you don't get stuck by like his highlight games, he's actually gone 7 straight games with under 7 FanDuel points. So basically not worth your roster. And then you have Blount, who's had under 8 points in 9 straight games. So both of these are such hard options. But like I said, I mean, you're just running on such few options when you're down to 4 teams. So I was just seeing if you had any lean one way or the other. And I'm with you. Like you said, if you get down to the 1, maybe Blount can get you the end zone touch. 1 or 2 maybe. You might need. So, well, I think we've officially lost DJ for the rest of the podcast. So do you have anything else you want to say or anything you want to hype before we sign off here?
Not really coming off the top of my head. If you guys have a moment, like, seriously, first, give me a follow on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. I would definitely greatly appreciate that. And also hit up Chat Sports on Instagram, Twitter at Chat Sports. I'm lucky enough it's been a heck of a journey, fantasy football, and I'm lucky now where I can do it full time. And if anybody's looking to get into the industry, hit me up on Twitter and I can see what I can do. But also, Loaded Box is a good place to get your foot in the door. I mean, I know about a year and a half ago, I started working at some no-name place and did a podcast with some no-name place called Loaded Box Podcast, and now I do it full time. And there's no doubt Loaded Box is my favorite place to do podcasts, and I mean that.
Damn straight. Thanks for the love, and thanks for coming on, and thanks to everyone for listening. As always, tweet any questions you'd like answered on the pod on Twitter at Loaded Box. Tune in sometime, hopefully in the near future here for the championship round instant reactions pod. We usually do it on Sunday right away, but we have an open bar to attend, so I don't know exactly how that's going to go. Check out our website, www.loadedboxpodcast.wordpress.com, and check us out on iTunes. Subscribe, rate, and review there. And Mitchell, DJ usually just says bye, so why don't you go ahead and say bye to the folks?
Bye!
You're better at it than DJ.